Within this tutorial, I'm going to provide you a breakdown of how to use iMovie, such a simple application itself, and you're gonna find out that after you watch this video, you'll be able to create your movie and be familiar with most of the features built into this application. Initially, when you open the application itself, this window comes up where you're going to see a little plus sign, and in the top middle there is media and there is projects. Now to start with creating your project, you want to be under projects, then you will click on the plus sign. After you click on the plus sign, you're going to choose movie to start your project. Once you do that, this new window will come up, and basically to give you a breakdown of what you're seeing in front of you, you have this section here on the top left corner. This top left quarter itself has all the ingredients that you're going to use to create your project. This is basically where your library is, where your pantry is, where all your ingredients and tools are available. On the top right corner, you're going to see there is a small preview window like a screen. This is where you're going to be seeing what you've done so far. And at the very bottom half, this is called the timeline. Sometimes they refer to it as your project area, where you actually create and add your ingredients to. So the first thing you'll do is that first you need to have some media to work with, either photos or videos. The one thing about iMovie is that they made it so simple that you can access all your photos within your photo library, and then you can maneuver between your albums, either the built-in albums or the shared albums if you're using iCloud, and the all photos, which is just basically all your photos organized chronologically. So in this case, we'll go ahead and we're not going to make any selections yet. So this is where you're going to access your media, which is all your photos. It's going to say my media, and we are within the photo application right now. We are accessing the content of photos. You can also access your audio from here. This is where you can access all your music, all your content, and similarly, you have a section for titles where you can add titles to your project. You have backgrounds where you can add backgrounds, as well as transitions where you put them two between two of your pictures, for example, or between a movie and another image, to transition from one to the next. Now, this is basically an overview of the tools of what you have. So let's go ahead and start making a demo project and see how all these tools work. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my two photos, access all the content that I have. Then I'm going to open the album called Animals, where you're going to see I have few animals selected for this project. Then all you need to do, you have two options to add your media to the timeline down here, either by dragging and dropping it directly. As you can see initially, when you drag and drop, the photo seems to be blown up a little bit in size. You can adjust the duration of this image simply by dragging the edges left or right. And as you can see, as I'm dragging this, you're going to see there is the time over here of 2.4 seconds that keeps changing as I'm going along. And basically, you can do the same thing for each image. You can also, instead of having to drag it manually down, you can just select the image first and then click on the plus sign on the bottom right to drag the photo below. Now, you don't have to do it one by one. For example, if you want to select multiple images, you can just hold the command key, and then you can click on each image that you want to select by holding the command key, and then you can just either click on the plus sign or just drag the images both, and you will see that both of them are in succession of each other. Now that actually explains how we can add media to our projects. As you can see, because it's so blown out down here or zoomed in, it's gonna make it difficult for us. We have to keep scrolling left or right to see all the media we have added so far. So to simplify that, there is this little slider here on the bottom, on the right side of the timeline. This slider itself, we can, if we shift it left, you actually zoom out the media we have added, so it's more manageable and we don't have to scroll left or right in order to see all our media that we've added. So as of now, we ended basically our section on how to add media to your timeline. Now we are going to go over how to add music. And similarly, just like we've added media to the timeline, we can add music simply by dragging. By selecting the song we want, then dragging it below the media so we can hook to it. As you can tell, there you go. And now this media has been hooked below here. This song has been hooked to this. And you're going to see there is a little hook below. And this little hook basically just tells us that this song is hooked starting at the beginning of the first picture. We can shift it left or right, which however we would like to customize it. Uh, then we have titles, which is going to be next. Within titles, basically, we have the ability to add some text into our pictures or into our movie. The way we do that, we select one. For example, we can select this gravity style of text. By the way, if you want to find out what a text will play like or animate like before adding it to your movie, you can just hover over it from left to right, and you're going to see on the screen on the screen on the right side how that text actually flows in and flows out. And similarly with each type, with each style, it does the same. So this looks pretty cool. So we're gonna choose this one here instead, called Prism. I'm gonna, as you can see, I'm gonna drag it down. I'm gonna drop it on the top of my image where I want that text to show up. When I do that, on the top right corner, this little text box gonna come up. That way I can double click on it to select everything, and then I can type in my the title that I would like to add. In this case, we can just keep it simple as Animals World, and oops, Animals World, and enter to save it. So now if we go to the beginning and we play, you're gonna see that it's gonna play like this. As you can see, it's playing a little bit fast, but we can adjust the size of this title by dragging it out or in um, to adjust the duration of its playing and how slow it plays. Um, Now let's give it another play here and see if it will give us a little idea of what it looks like. And it looks pretty cool, as you can see. Okay, so the next thing after titles, and again, before we end up with the title section, you don't have uh, to put just one title. You can put multiple titles. For example, after this here, maybe you want to add another title here. You can definitely do that by just dragging the title again on the top of that other image that you want and then type in the name. For example, Animals World Continued. And then once you play, you're gonna see that it's gonna go through the first title, then it's gonna go through the, after it goes through the other image, I'm gonna fast forward it a little bit, and it's gonna go through the second title. Okay, and as you can see, if I want to shift left to right on this timeline, as you can see, wherever my cursor is, the top right quarter with the display window display to you where my cursor is, and then I can have a view of what I'm looking at on the top right quarter section, which is over here. So the next section would be to deal with backgrounds. Backgrounds are another way of of making your movies a little bit more interesting. Sometimes you want to start with the with a background and add basically a title to it, rather than putting a text on an image itself. You can just put a background. For example, we can put this one here in the beginning, and simply by dragging it to the left, just like we do with images, with media, or with music. Similarly, we will drag it from the top to the bottom. Then over here you can see we have a background, and within that background I could add a title. So I can go back to titles and I could add the title back, and I can just do the same thing I've done before by dragging the title on the top of my background and drop it, and then I can just say animal world, animals world. That way, it can be more like an introduction, kind of a nice screen. Now it's much better than before. So if you take a look, you're gonna see, let's say animals world, and then it's gonna start um, transitioning into our movie. Uh, One more thing we haven't covered so far is that if you add something by mistake to your timeline and you decide that, hey, I don't want to do that, or you change your mind, you can simply select it, delete it, and hit delete on the keyboard. Now, doing that does not get rid of your picture for good permanently. We're only removing the copy from the timeline. So keep in mind your photos are safe and you can always go back and find them within your photo application or wherever they're located at. So that talks about our backgrounds. You have other animated backgrounds as well. We have basically a revolving globe like this one here. This will allow you to basically um, add a little revolving globe that has some type of animation to your um, to your movie. After backgrounds, we're gonna end with transitions, and transitions simply just a way to transition from one photo to the next, or from one scene to the next. There are different styles of transitions. We're gonna basically experiment with some of them. We have this style called cube, as you can see, that makes the screen rotate, and and the way we insert these transitions, we insert them between our media. So as you can see, I'm dragging it here in the middle between this image and the background. So if I put one there and they go and I try to play to see what it plays like, you're gonna see that it's gonna have the effect of a cube rotation that's gonna start about now. And that's definitely give it such an interesting effect that makes it very pleasant for viewing and for your viewers as well. Um, the next thing, you can also add this type of transition, which is called mosaic. And as you can see, we're gonna give a little display here, and then you can play and you'll see how it works. See, that looks cool. So as you can see, these are all the ingredients you have within iMovie that you can use. It's very simple, and this is how you can start making your video and so on. We have more videos to come. I'm going to show you more advanced tools on how to use iMovie and how to trim and how to edit your video on the next video. Thank you so much for viewing this tutorial. You have a great day.